What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do do do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do do do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do do do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do do do. What is love? Hello, I'm Merlin Malilly. Welcome to the Love Show, where we drink coffee and grapple with the question of what is love? The whole month of May I've dedicated to mothers. So last week's show was about Mother Teresa, and this week's show is about the Virgin Mary. So, is the Virgin Mary love? She's the mother of Jesus. Some say the mother of God. My grandmother called her the Blessed Mother. My grandmother was raised pagan on Sicily. When she grew up and moved to the United States, she married a Catholic man here, and she became Catholic. But she worshipped the Blessed Mother. With paganism, some people think pagans worship all the different gods, and that's not really true. Most pagans pick one or two sort of patron gods, kind of like patron saints, for their purposes, for what they're praying for. If you're going to war, you might pray with the god of war to be with you in war, or the goddess of war. But war is definitely not love, so that's a whole nother subject. But I would say my grandmother had come from a goddess background, and she was already worshiping a goddess, so she just replaced the Blessed Mother with Mary, but she kept calling her the Blessed Mother. So she always worshipped the Blessed Mother. She just didn't always worship Mary. Or did she? In Islam, she isn't worshipped, but she is known as Miriam, and she is known as the mother of Jesus in Islam now. And she apparently is the only woman mentioned by name in the Quran. And not only is she mentioned, she has her own chapter even. But in Islam, she's more of a prophet than in Christianity. So in Christianity, Mary is the Virgin Mother. In some circles, the Virgin Mother of God. certainly the Virgin Mother of Jesus. She's worshipped for sure in Christianity. The Rosary is all about Mary. Most of them have a little statue of Mary in metal in the center. The Rosary beads. In Catholic school, we used to crown the Virgin Mary statue with flowers every May. Yes, I went to Catholic school. Yes, that's what happened. I actually wanted to be a nun for all of first and second grade in Catholic school. And then I found out nuns couldn't lead a mass. A mass is a Catholic prayer ceremony, church. Apparently, though, nowadays there are some nuns who do lead mass, and there are altar girls. When I was a girl, there were no altar girls. Nuns were not permitted to lead mass. So the nuns at my church were relieved. They wiped their brows when I said I didn't want to be a nun anymore. They were happy. And contrary to popular opinion in the American South and Midwest, Catholics are Christians. And in the Christian faith, Mary is worshipped. All of the different Christian faiths, from Catholic to Baptist to Protestant, they all worship Mary. They disagree on lots of stuff, but they all love Mary. The cool thing about her that I didn't know until I started studying her for this episode is that she straddles so many different faiths. I didn't realize she was in the Quran. And she has historical significance. I mean, what would our history be without Jesus and Mary, the Virgin Mother? Human history would be very different. The Hebrew Bible has Mary in the Old Testament, so the Jewish faith worships Mary, or talks about her at least. She's in the Quran, so the Muslim faith talks about her. And then if you reference her to any mother of any deity, like my grandmother did, and call her the Blessed Mother, then she is worshipped by even more. Really, nearly every faith worships her, or at least talks about her in some way. Do all of these faiths realize they've been fighting over the same story? I didn't realize. I really didn't realize that. I grew up Christian, Catholic. I didn't realize that everybody was studying the same book, basically. Same story. So why are we fighting? What are we fighting over? The interpretation of the story, but really not anything to fight over. The only other thing all these different faiths have in common is love. Therefore, Mary must be love. She certainly represents love. A mother's love, a woman's love. She represents women. She represents all of humanity if you look at her as a mother goddess, fertility goddess. Might be stretching it a bit, but I think some people look at her that way. If you look at her historically, she was from a small village, but yet very young, very early, even by the time's standards. She was betrothed and married off to Joseph of Arimathea. The thing about her historically that isn't often discussed, because she's always discussed religiously, but if you discuss her historically, the miracle is even still there. Because they say that she got pregnant before her first period. I think that's why no one disputed her, because even by today's standards, that's miraculous. And then she would have had to have been like roughly 12-ish, 11, when she had Jesus. She was a child. So when they were calling her a virgin, they were calling her a child. It was sort of synonymous at the time. It's interesting, though, throughout history, that no one really has been able to tarnish her as a liar or a whore. So this is the weird stuff that no one wants to talk about, but it's precisely scientifically, historically, what clears her name. And then the angels appeared to other people and told them the same thing that they told Mary. And then what they told these people came to pass. So it wasn't just, oh, I heard a voice. It was a bunch of people heard the same voices from the same angels saying the same things, and then those things came to pass. So that's a little weird and miraculous and different from what people are used to in their everyday. So that, makes her special. But it seems to me like she was special before she even had Jesus, because for her, even for the time to be, she was betrothed at like 8, and then she was married off at probably roughly around 11, and had Jesus at like 12. She was very young, even by the standards of the day. So she was special. Someone wanted her particularly betrothed to their son. Her in particular. To their son in particular. Joseph. And some say Joseph was the descendant of King David. I haven't followed that trail because this wasn't about him. But that would make some sense. But why Mary? Why was she special even before she had Jesus? Were the angels coming to her all along, maybe? Or perhaps the angels came to other people and told them that she was special. I believe there are special individuals on this planet. I don't think everybody's special. Then sort of loses its je ne sais quoi. But Mary was special. There's something about her. And it's funny how these stories hold water through all these faiths, through all of this time. And it produced nothing weird in the wash. Just a miracle. A miracle of love. Do you believe in miracles? I do. Do you believe in love? I do. Do you believe in Mary? Miriam? The Virgin Blessed Mother? I do. What a model. What an example of love and patience and motherhood and compassion. She was a prophet, a disciple, a healer, a goddess, the mother of God, the Blessed Mother. Perhaps she is the mother of love. She gave birth to love. Is Jesus love? That's the other thing that made her special. She gave birth out in the middle of nowhere. In the Quran, it was under a palm tree all by herself. And in the Christian faith, we learn that she gave birth in a stable, in a manger with the animals, because there was no room at the inn. That's how the story goes. But all of these stories are told predominantly throughout history by men, which, in my opinion, kind of tarnishes the story in and of itself. Because how can you accurately, as a man, tell a woman's story? You can't really tell a woman's point of view from a man's point of view. So we need more stories written by women, interpreted by women, about Mary. I wish we could have had them from long ago. People who knew her personally wrote about her. Women who knew her personally wrote about her. Or I wish that she had written. Perhaps she did. Mary Magdalene apparently wrote. They found new evidence of that. But I don't think they found evidence of Mary, the mother of Jesus, writing. Maybe. So she gave birth to Jesus, and I'm theorizing now that perhaps she gave birth to love. Is Jesus love? It's another love show. I'm sure love existed before Jesus. Perhaps didn't. The Blessed Mother of Love. I like that. When she shows up in your mashed potatoes, she's loved then too. So yes, I would say the Virgin Mary is love. She is love. She's not the only thing that's love, but she for sure is love. And maybe even the mother of love. So you may have noticed I'm sort of dismantling the set for the love show at the moment. Please pardon the construction. We are moving out to a completely different building where I'm going to have the love show studio. It's on the same premises, just another building. So love grows, and mothers help love grow. The Blessed Mother of Love certainly helps love grow. Help love grow. Get out there and help love grow. I love you. Thanks for watching. What is love? Do, 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 do. What is love? Do, do, do. What is love? Do, 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 do. What is love? Do, do, do. What is love? Do, 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 do. What is love? Do, do, do. What is love? Do, 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 do. What is love? Do, do, do. What